So Einstein once said, apropos of scientific theories, that you want your theories to be the simplest, as simple as possible, but no simpler. And even though he was talking about science, I think that's true for spiritual science as well, the science of belief and metaphysics and spirituality. And your spiritual truth, your spiritual practices need to be as simple as possible, but no simpler. What's the simplest thing? The now moment. And how do you get into the now moment? Well, you've got to divest yourself of the things that are unlike the now moment, which are the past and the future. And how do you let go of the past and the future so that you can trustingly embrace the now? We're going to talk about that this morning. And it's really an interesting dance, because you've got to deal with the past, right? I mean, you can't just pretend like it didn't happen. I know a lot of people who have been taught, and you may have been taught this, that, oh, you don't deal with any of the negativity of the past because by thinking about it, you're just making it worse or stronger. No. If you let go of the past with the intention of letting go of the past, you'll let go of the past. But you've got to do something with it to objectify the energy that you're holding about the past. So here's my friend. I want to show you my good friend that helps me to objectify my energy. Legal pad. I got them all over the place. I got them in my office. I got them by my bed. I got them on my desk, because anytime I have an agitated feeling or a concern or a worry or a resentment or anything, I start writing it down. I start writing it down. I think I told you about that one time when I really had somebody who I had a lot of resentment against, and it was just so painful that as I was writing it down, I just got tired of writing it down. And I was just going to watch TV. Did you ever do that? So I turn on the TV, and there's CNN, and there's a half-hour special on this guy. About how wonderful a person he was. And I'm sitting there, you don't know the person that I know. Oh, and I watched the half-hour special as I scribbled furiously all my feelings. And then what did you do with it? Well, you throw them away. You know, my daughter said when she was in 3rd grade, you know what I do when people treat me bad? I write them a letter. And I said, ooh. And she said, no, I don't give it to them. I rip it up and I flush it down the toilet. The idea, you say, what good is that going to do? It objectifies the energy of whatever it is you're holding in your subconscious mind. When you put it down on paper, it's not in your subconscious mind anymore. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's true. You put it down on paper and you can release it. The same thing goes for the future. You know, the reason why we set goals is not to make the goals happen. It's to get them out of our fear-based, worry-based thought and put them down in an objective place so we can let go of them, and then just trust in the now. Think about that. So, how many of you have ever had something called a God box? Raise your hand. God box is this little thing that you create, where you put down your best understanding of the answered prayer in not particularly specific terms, but you write it down and you put it in there and remind yourself that you're letting it go, and the minute you stop letting it go, you pull it out and you carry that piece of paper around with you, remind yourself that you are not letting it go until you're willing to finally let it go, and you put it back in the God box. Now, these are little things to do to objectify the energy that you allow to be trapped in the past and the future. So, embrace the now moment. Embrace the present, accept the present by letting go of the burdens of the past, which keep you stuck, and also letting go of the worries of the future that keep you anxious. And then you move into the now moment. And then what do you get to experience? The guidance of the now moment, the wonderful serendipitous experiences of the now moment, and the divine protection of the now moment. This last week, those of you who followed me on Facebook know that Jason and I went up to Woodstock, Illinois in order to go on a Groundhog Day adventure. We were going to, that was where Groundhog Day was filmed, and so we were going to go see all the places where Groundhog Day was filmed and all the different locations, and it was 5 below with a wind chill of 30 below. So we didn't do a lot of that, but beforehand I was going to have to find a place for us to stay, and there was a wonderful bed and breakfast that just happened to be the one that Bill Murray stayed in the movie. So all the locations were all filmed, the inside and the outside of this place, and we were so excited about it. And I called them up, and they said, yeah, but we don't have our reservation booklet here. I left it somewhere downstairs. Let me call you back after I get it. And she never called me back. That's not very nice of her, is it? Think of a situation in your life where you were really counting on something to happen a certain way, and it didn't happen that way, and you thought it was so wrong, so unjust, so rude, so this, so that. Aha! So Jason and I looked at each other, and I said, why do you think this is happening? And he said, I don't think we're supposed to stay there. I said, I don't either. I don't get a good feeling about this. We found out later. We drove by it. We drove around it. We drove by it. It was too cold to get out. We found out that their pipes burst the very day we were going to stay there at $25,000 damage. It would have been a real... Now, why I'm telling you this, because if you move into the now moment, if you live in the now moment, you'll get guidance. You don't know why. Things will happen a certain way, and you'll wonder why. I was working with a man a few months ago who was dealing with a work situation where he had been involved in decisions that didn't work out very well, and it looked like they were going to let him go, and he was feeling all bad about it, and feeling anxiety about what's going to happen, and who am I, I've always been successful, and all those things that you go through when something like that happens. And we did some prayer treatment work, we did some meditation on it, and when I came out of it, said, I just keep seeing you in a cap and gown with a diploma in your hand. You've graduated. The karma is over. You graduated from whatever this is. He said, yeah, but I can't keep myself from thinking about this mistake or that mistake. I said, think about when you graduated from high school. You got your diploma. And you don't go, I got a D on a test when I was a sophomore. I don't deserve this diploma. Or I even made a mistake on a question and a homework assignment. No, you take it all the good, you take all the bad, but you're complete. You did what you needed to do. You succeeded beyond your wildest dreams, and now you're set free. Wow. And he started working with this concept, and as he went forth into his life, and they did let him go, he found out circumstances in the world changed in such a way exactly at the right time so that he ended up with this fabulous market for his talents and skills. And he didn't have a boss anymore except for himself, so he could only complain about his boss if it was himself, right? So he was in a situation where more freedom, more hours, more freedom in terms of his time off, and he had more money. Now, I'm telling you this because if you let go and trust in the now, things will open up for you. But I have a better idea than God does, don't you? A lot of the time, you probably aren't like that, but I am. I got a much better idea, and I have a whole way of the way it's supposed to work out for me. But sometimes you've got to be radically surrendered and let yourself say, okay, show me how you're going to turn this one to good, God. Together, show me how you're going to turn this one to good, God. Let it be. Let it be. I shared about Jane Hart, my meditation teacher, and how she had moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico, into an apartment that had a washer and a dryer, and she was in very deep meditation, and it came to her so strongly that she needed to take her laundry to a laundromat. It was winter. She's going to lug baskets of laundry, and she went, oh, why am I going to do this? And it was strong. It was so strong. So she, feeling like a fool, drove all of her laundry down to the nearest laundromat, and she's sitting there feeling like a fool, watching the laundry go round and around in the dryer, when a woman said, Jane, is that you? Jane? And she looked over, and it was a woman that she had known in her last city. She'd only moved there a few weeks before, which was Toledo, Ohio, and the woman had moved to Albuquerque about 4 years earlier. She didn't know where the woman had disappeared. And they knew each other pretty well, but she just lost touch with her. And there this woman was doing her laundry in the laundromat and saying, this morning I woke up and I prayed, because she was going through something, that I could find a friend. If I could find a friend, I'm so lonely and I need some support right now. And they ended up being mastermind partners, prayer support. Now, if you got guidance wherever you live that you need to take your laundry down to the laundromat and do it, would you do that? What do you do when you get unexpected roadblocks or things that don't work out quite the way you want them to? Sometimes being radically surrendered can open you up to unexpected new good. But you got to be willing to be in the now moment. There's a lot of talk about the now moment, about Eckhart Tolle, and I love his quotes about the now moment. But you know, Myrtle Fillmore, back 100 years ago, wrote something that sounds like it came out of the Power of Now. She said, "Affirm this now moment is your only active reality, not divided by past memories or future desires, but bursting with the ever-present fulfillment of the ever-present now." I am bursting with the ever-present fulfillment of the ever-present now. Together? I am bursting with the ever-present fulfillment of the ever-present now. Again. I am bursting with the ever-present fulfillment of the ever-present now. I tell you to say that because it puts you into the now. Affirmations, the reason why you use affirmations isn't to create something in the future that you want. It's to move you into the now. Even if it's something that you think should happen in the future. 3 times in my life I've had meetings that I really didn't want to be there. I'd give anything. I'd rather be in having my root canal without Novocaine than be in these meetings. You ever had a meeting like that?
Yeah.
You just know. It's just, you do not want to be in this room at this time. And one of them was about 30 years ago, one about 20 years ago, one about 10 years ago. And each time I did the same thing. I took out my trusty legal pad and I wrote my affirmations. God and I are one. I am in the presence of pure being. And I write these over and over and over again. And I let it change as time went on. And do you know that everybody else in that room, when they were watching me doing it, they thought I was really paying attention. And I looked like I was really engaged, but I wasn't. I mean, I was certainly aware, but I was in the now moment. And it brought me out of my anxiety, my worry about what was going to happen, my anger about what had happened, my anxiety about this precious present. And I just wrote out all. And you know what? Each of those times, everything worked out in a beautiful way. Everything worked out in a beautiful way. Frank Lloyd Wright said, this now moment is the most important thing, not tomorrow or yesterday, but today, and you're never going to reach anything better than the right now. You got to be in the right now. And how often do we think we're locked into an idea of the way things are supposed to be or should have been, and we just need to move into this now moment. But how can you do that? Oh, we tried that a little in the meditation. You can ask yourself, well, if everything was well, if all was well, how would I feel? What would my feelings be? And assume those feelings. If I knew what to do, how would my posture be? What would the look on my face be? If my prayer was already answered, what kind of thoughts would I have? And just move into that. Because it'll move you into the now moment experience. These are little ways to help yourself move into the now moment experience where all of your guidance is. Many years ago, there was something on the TV called The Word from Unity. You remember? Does anybody remember? I think they were 30-second or 1-minute spots that Unity used to put out, and in the days when TV stations would actually broadcast these for free, right? But it was called The Word from Unity, and they took a word and they had somebody famous, an actor, who would read it and say it into the camera. Anybody remember The Word from Unity? Not too many of us, but back at that time when they came up with this was in the late 1960s. They really did some visioning, some prayer work, and at Unity headquarters they got this idea: we're going to take our daily word, but we're going to do it as a television thing. And they assigned Rosemary Fillmore Ray, Charles Fillmore's granddaughter, to drive to Los Angeles with her husband Ralph and to find movie stars and sign them up to do this. Now, these people lived in rural Missouri. Who are they going to meet? But they operated in faith. They had a very limited budget in terms of their lodging. And all the way there, she kept getting the feeling, Bel Air Hotel, Bel Air Hotel. They checked out the price of the Bel Air Hotel. It would have blown their entire week's budget in 2 days. But she kept saying to Ralph, and he kept fighting back, we've got to stay at the Bel Air Hotel. So they show up there over his objections, and they get ready to check in, and the guy behind the counter starts to check them in and says the typical thing, well, what's bringing you to Los Angeles today? And she told him about the Word from Unity and how it was Daily Word. And he said, Daily Word, that's my mother's favorite magazine. Oh, she'll want to meet you. And they thought, oh boy. And they said, well, you know, we're going to be trying to find people to da-da-da-da. My mother is Anne Francis. A lot of you don't know who that is, but back in the 60s, she was a big star. But more importantly, she knew all the other big stars, and a lot of them read Daily Word. And they were all excited to be on this and to donate their time for this filming, and they got lots and lots, and the word went out, and this went on for years, people telling people, and it became this big thing. Now, what happened is that she trusted in the now moment. She let go of the anxiety of the future, she let go of the whatever of the past, and she moved into this now moment. What did Paul say? Everything is being made new. Jesus said, behold, I make all things new. But this is about the newness of completion. You know, Carl Jung said, the point of a well-lived life is not to be good, it is to be complete. And I pondered that. What does that mean, be complete? It means to be whole. To be whole beyond what we think is good and bad, but to be whole and complete, which means facing the negativity of the past and the worries of the future, but then letting them go. Forgiveness is a part of this. Forgiveness is something that's sometimes makes people uncomfortable when I talk about, but it's so important to write it down, to write down the things that you're holding on to. There's always the 7-step method. There's another method back there that I have out on the table outside of Fellowship Hall called the agitated energy process that you can use to clear your negative emotions. But forgiving is such an incredible and intensely powerful way of releasing those things that you're holding on to. When I was living in New Mexico, I knew of a guy who was a psychotherapist and a medicine man for the Navajo tribe. He'd gotten his master's in psychology, but he used his tribal methods. And so he would, when he was working with his clients, he used, this was an ancient, hundreds of years old at least, method. They have the person dig a hole and then shout all of their resentments or hurts or whatever it is into the hole as loud as they can, using whatever language that came out, and then bury it with the dirt. You say to yourself, what's that going to do? But he said, it worked. You, me, we might just write it down and burn it. We might release it in a different way. There's the 7-step method. There's the agitated energy process. There's the things that we did during the burning bowl and during the different processes. I'm teaching a class on Tuesday night for 2 weeks on creating your new life, and we'll do a little of that. But letting go of and releasing that energy that keeps us stuck in the past, and letting go of some of our illusions about forgiveness. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you got to forgive and forget. Schopenhauer said, forgive and forget means that you're throwing into the garbage can a lot of necessary and useful things from your past. You don't forget, you instead release it, and you don't stay stuck in the story. So you don't have to forget everything, you just no longer stay stuck in it. I'm sharing this with you so that you don't feel like you have to do these things that aren't realistic about it, but to be willing, And then also to create the future. And how do you do that? Well, you know, we talk a lot about setting objectives, setting goals in the now moment. But the purpose of setting a goal in the now moment is not to make that thing happen. It's to let go of the energy so that you can live in the now. So you write down whatever it is that would help you to release it, and then you move with it, you move in it, you move along with it. So these are all different methods that you can use. The idea here is to move into the now by releasing the past and by embracing the present and creating the future. Now, when I say embracing the present, a lot of people have a hard time with that. They say, because I don't like this present right now. It's not what I want. And I was talking to Martha Creek just a couple weeks ago, and she said, you know, I don't use the term loving what is anymore. I just call it accepting what is or making peace with what is. But, you know, I don't necessarily want to, because people have a hard time with the idea of loving what is. Well, the idea of loving what is, it's true love. Because what is love? Love is unconditional acceptance without attachment. That's a different definition. Most of us think love is getting other people to do and be what it is we want them to do and be so that we can feel comfortable. But there's a different definition. Wayne Dyer says true love, spiritual love, is allowing other people to do and be what they choose to do and be without any insistence that they satisfy us. And try that one on for size. That's a different way of living your life. And so what kind of love do you want to experience? Spiritual love? Or do you want to experience something that really isn't love after all? So we're talking about moving into this now moment, embracing what is, accepting what is. You don't have to enable what is. You don't have to like what is. You don't have to do anything except for make peace with it. Let it be. Not bruise your shins on the hard edges of reality, but instead allow yourself to move into the now moment. And again, one of the best ways to do it is to forgive. There was a woman in my first church. She came in to me for counseling. Her husband had died. They'd been married for 40 years. And she told me he was the stingiest man that ever lived. That they had lots and lots and lots of money, but they lived at a poverty level because he was so afraid because of his childhood poverty that they lived at an extremely uncomfortable level. She said, I'm fine with being frugal, but it was ridiculous. And although I'm grieving him and I loved him very much, I'm finding something very strange. After he died, I thought, well, now I can live, in a more comfortable way. I certainly have the means to do that, but I find that I'm just as stingy as he is. I can't stop living like this. What do I do? And I said, you need to forgive him. Until you forgive him, you'll never get past this belief system. So she did her journaling, she did her release, she let the stingy so-and-so go and released him, took him up the 7 steps and did what she needed to do. And then she found out that she could live her life. It's not your life, it's not your energy if it's rooted in the past or if it's stuck in the future. In order to live your life, you've got to move into the now moment, the precious present, which truly is the realm of the Holy Spirit. People use that term. It's a big religious term, but it is the spiritual nature that you can feel. The presence that's always there once you let go of the past and the future and move into the now moment. So we're going to take a moment here and move into this precious present. So I want you to just let go of all your papers in your hands and move into this moment experience. This moment experience. And I want you to just imagine that you're taking all the energy of the past and withdrawing it and moving it into the now moment. All the past concerns, all the past resentments, all the past limitations, just bring it into the now moment. And now I want you to take all the energy that you've put off in the future in the form of worries or anxieties and bring it into this now moment. And just imagine that you have a treasure trove of energy now that you have gathered from the future and the past, and that this is yours to create with, yours to experience and embrace, yours to enjoy. God, in this now moment, I am safe. I am secure. In this now moment, I am comforted and at peace. In this now moment, I am complete, remembering the Master's words, I came that your joy may be whole and complete. I experience myself as I truly am, image and likeness of God, creative expression. Thank you, God, that I remember the simple truth, the simplest truth, that this now moment is all I need. I need to have nothing but this now moment. I need to want nothing but this now moment. And I am only this now moment. And so it is. Amen. And setting aside the papers in your hands and the thoughts in your mind, the attachments in your heart, and move into this now moment experience. Letting go of all the burdens of the past that keep you stuck. Willingly letting go of all the worries of the future that cause anxiety. And moving into this now moment, which truly is the realm of the Spirit. The only spirit in life we can ever feel and experience is in this now moment. Now is all we need. The ancient Romans understood this. That's why they named their first month of the year after their god Janus, who had two faces. One looked to the past and one looked to the future. And during that time of the new year, they would release the past experiences of the past year. And they would consciously create the new experiences of the year to come. And it would free them up to move into the now moment. And so I release the past. I let it go. I complete the past. I allow it to be. And I also let go of the future, turning it over, trusting, releasing. And I move into this now moment by embracing what is. I just let it be. Exactly as it is, exactly as I feel, exactly as my breath is coming in and out. Becoming aware of my heart beating and the feeling of the air pressure on my skin. I embrace this precious present, and I remember that every right outcome and answer can only be created and experienced in the now. And so I let go of the past. I fully forgive and release. I let go and I let go into this now moment. All that has happened is now complete. And if there's something that I have been concerned about in the future, I ask this question and answer it with my whole being. If I knew that all was well, how would I feel? What feelings would I have? And I just feel those feelings. It's that simple. If I knew that all was well and nothing could disturb the calm peace of my soul, what would the look be on my face? How would my posture be? What would be the thought that comes through my mind? I let myself move into this now moment. If all was well, how would I feel? What would I think? How would I show up and be? Whenever my mind wanders, I just bring it back to this now moment question. If all was well, how would I be? What would I feel? What would be my thoughts? My expression? 90% of my problems would simply dissolve if I just could be in the now moment. And I would know what to do the other 10% of the time. Thank you, God, that this simple truth is my greatest truth. And so it is. I want to share, as we're preparing for our offering, the wonderful quote from Meister Eckhart: if you dwell in God, you're dwelling in the eternal now. There you'll never grow old, because everything is present and everything is new. So we move into this new consciousness of this now moment. So our offering statement is, I give in the spirit of what's new, and I receive abundantly. Together?
I give in the spirit of what's new, and I receive abundantly.
And silently. And again aloud together. I give in the spirit of what's new, and I receive abundantly. And so it is. Amen.